Alright, y'all boys, so today this is another video we about to go ahead and react to inside the Indian reservation where people go missing. This video is by Tommy G. Let's go ahead and see what it's talking about.
There's a lot of murders that haven't been solved. A lot of people have been out here and they never find anybody who did it.
Oh yeah, I know him.
In the valley. By our count, it is the 28th time this year. We know the FBI is also involved in this case.
People going
This is on
missing.
Gila River Indian Community land.
For white boys like me, native reservations are hard places to act.
Where is this
And
at?
understandably so. Because I understand history, it makes sense why Native Americans can be closed off, resentful, and even downright hostile towards white folks. After all, many tribes have a similar story. European immigrants landed on their shores, starving and close to death, and many natives offered their help to help these pilgrims survive. In fact, our national holiday of Thanksgiving celebrates this very hospitality. Now, I know I simplified the beginning between the two groups.
Wait, that's where Thanksgiving comes from?
Starving and close to death, and many natives offered their help to help these pilgrims survive. In fact, our national holiday of Thanksgiving celebrates this very hospitality. Now, I know I simplified the beginning between the two groups, but what eventually
I'm gonna
followed
be honest,
was
I ain't
things
never
like
heard of that
enslavement,
before.
frequent bloody battles, natives getting pushed from the land they had known for centuries, and smallpox wiping out 90% of the native population. Now, this isn't to say that the original Americans would have lived in some paradise world if it wasn't for the European settlers. The truth is, many tribes warred with each other, massacred each other, they massacred many settlers, and native warriors had some ugly practices like scalping their enemies. You see, no matter the
Nah, that's
conflict, things can
crazy.
get ugly when there are battles over resources,
Scalping them
personal
is
freedom,
crazy.
and valuable territory. It's just how humans are. But all things considered, Indians got the sharp end of the stick when dealing with the Europeans. They experienced numerous atrocities at the hands of people like Christopher Columbus and Andrew Jackson. But more on this later. We don't have time for me to ramble about history all day, so let's get into the people that we are meeting today. In this episode, we dive into the Gila
where is
River
this at,
Reservation
though?
and see what life is like for the people from the Pima and Maricopa tribes. These people have had their fair share of battles ranging from water right disputes with the US government to fighting things in the community like obesity and drug addiction. But they've also triumphed on major levels. They've scored massive infrastructure deals with the government. as well as had
Arizona, I was
fantastic
gonna
success
definitely
with their
guess that
casinos.
though.
Enough of the talk for now. Let's get into the episode.
I should have just said it.
In the first part of this journey, we are welcomed into the home of Grandma Sandra, a town staple who cooks for us and tells us about the culture and community.
I ain't gonna lie.
I'm Tommy.
That food look good. That flatbread, that look
What land are we on
amazing.
right now?
We're on the Gila River.
Can you tell me any of the history of this place?
The Pima is called Akamil Atham. That's the name of our people. And we've been here from the very beginning. In fact, our land is in Phoenix, the whole area of Phoenix. We're related to the Hohokam tribe. The white folks
The
came,
Hohokam
all
tribe?
the tribes got put on reservations. And this is our reservation that we have now.
I'm going to give everyone their first reading assignment so far on the channel. There's a book called Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee that everyone should read.
Imagine for a moment that the Chinese began taking over America and that the way they made peace with us was by forcing us to sign treaties that removed us from the wonderful land we grew up on and forced us to move to the shittiest areas they could find. Places where crops can barely grow and the resources are slim. And
That high key sounds like what's kind of about to soon happen in the future. I may be wrong, but that resembles a lot of what's kind of going on right now. How I ain't even gonna say too much about
on top
that.
of that, the minor concessions they did offer to us in the treaties, shortly after, they would break their word and go back on their promise. Let's take the Sioux people in Nebraska, for example. Once the US government found out that the land that they stayed on had valuable gold mines, they again pushed them to a new and even shittier parcel of land. This is what tribes across the country experienced in their dealings with the US government over the mid-1800s. To
Yo,
best
this man
understand
Tommy
the
G, he
treachery
like
of
the
this
new
period, I
documentary
recommend you
type
read
of
the book Bury
journalist.
My Heart at Wounded Knee. I read this book in college, and what I learned has stuck with me ever since. This book is linked in my description.
We get free health, well, in this state. I lived in Virginia and they don't have it there. And they might now, but my family has land here. We cause any problems, we could get kicked off our reservation. The casino has brought in a lot of money for us.
How does that work? Does every person that lives here have a share in the casino? Because I've been in Seminole country where I think it's over 18, all of the kids get a certain monthly sum from the casino.
Wow, that's
ours is
cool.
every
I ain't gonna
3
lie, that's
months,
pretty
and when they
cool.
turn 18, they'll get their money.
Are there any any benefits or perks living in the tribe? Like you were saying, free health care.
Well, this tribe here helps you pay your electricity. We don't pay water bill. We don't pay rent. We don't get taxed for our land.
Let's talk about free housing.
Man, that sounds like a good deal,
when
though.
a tribal member comes of age, they will be built a house free of charge, and the size of the house will depend on how big their family is. Additionally, upon turning 18, this person will also receive a lump sum of between $50,000 and $100,000 to kickstart their adult life.
That's
and for
tough.
supplemental income for everyone on the Gila River
Free
Reservation,
15
children
bands?
and adults, they each receive a quarterly stipend ranging from $350 to $650. Now, this country has had a long-standing debate if these practices help or hurt a community. You guys tell me what you think in the
I
comments.
feel like that's
We're having our
like
Thanksgiving
everybody should have
dinner
that,
right now,
honestly.
too.
Is that a complicated holiday to celebrate?
You know, I grew up in foster care, and I never knew none of my family until I turned 25. When I turned 25, I came to look for my family. I found my mom and my dad. My mother's from here, the tribe, and my dad's from the Tono Atham tribe. And when I found out about that, I was so happy, and both tribes accepted me without no
She
doubt.
met her
I
folks
never grew
at
up
25.
here, but I've been living here now for over like 40 years, 45 years. I did get to meet my mom, but I never got to meet my father. You could only pick one tribe to be enrolled in. And I picked my father's side because I never got to meet him and I wanted something from him. And so I picked that tribe. But I've always lived on this tribe, in the Pima tribe.
Something Extra was telling us in the car that I wanted to ask you about is that there's kind of myth or rumors of spirits in the mountains or portals. Have you ever heard anything like that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of anyone going missing or like talking to the mountain spirits and think bad things happen?
One of my uncles, he does go up there a lot, and he says he always sees stuff, different things, like he takes the clay from the mountain, and he makes
The symbol of the guy with the flute, that is the fertility god, isn't it? It worked for me, folks. Within 1 week of trying with my wife, we got pregnant.
Oh,
How would
my
you describe
goodness.
this place to someone that's never been here before?
He's
Still
stupid.
go by the old ways, you know. Some people still cook with wood, but now they're building houses for the people out here, so they're getting new houses. They're still building houses now for the casino, you know.
The casino money flows through.
Yeah.
How do you feel about our government?
I think they're kind of crooked, you know. They take a lot of money from us. The casino is built on our land. We built it, but they still tax us. You know, a lot of people out here, they're either on drugs or drinking, you know, because they don't have no kind of income, nowhere to go.
Nah, that's
What percent of
crazy.
people you think have a
I'd say
drug
that's the
issue?
downfall of it, though. No cap. It's like what you doing with the money that like you just getting in for the free. That's probably the only real downfall of it, honestly. I want to see what they're talking about as far as people going missing and stuff.
80% maybe.
Is there a good hospital or is there a good amount of medical staff in the area that help with people?
Yeah, they got a drug rehab out here, but, you know, very few people go through it.
On the 24th, I have 24 years of sobriety.
Wow.
For about 18 years, I did the Kamake AANA group here in our district. That's why I never
What's
grew up
today's
here on the
date?
reservation, because my mom and my dad were both alcoholics and they couldn't take care of me. And so
Bro, I used to smoke a lot of tree. I ain't gonna lie. I am almost 2 months sober off of it. It's March 8th. So March 18th, that will mark 2 months of me being off of it. Thank God, no cap. I did not really realize how bad it was really affecting me until I kind of, you know, had to take a step back. But definitely we rocking though for sure.
I grew up in foster care. It's been awful.
Why is it you think that alcohol has such a strong pull here?
People can't figure out how to be happy being clean and sober. And we're all
Facts.
related. If we look at it that way, we'll all get along.
I done watched that whole entire thing just now. That was crazy.
About how long do you go on each side?
really fast, a minute, not even a minute. As soon as this grease is hot, it gets it cooked fast.
Kind of like a thick tortilla almost.
Yeah.
So this is my dough. This is the flour most natives use, the bluebird. I'm trying to teach my family, my girls, or anybody who wants to, know how to do it so they can carry
That look
it
good
on.
though. They're like some good flatbread. I think that's what it's called.
People be
shooting, people be trying to break into the shit.
So there's a lot of abandoners around here?
Oh, hell yeah. This is probably the security.
They're going to an abandoned school.
Oh, look, someone discarded a toilet right now. If I had to shit and I came across that, I'd be disappointed. People climb all the way up there.
This man, something wrong with Tommy G, bro.
I'm kind of scared of
He a little ignorant, I ain't gonna lie.
They somehow be shapeshifters.
Basically, it's an old human spirit or something.
Yeah, this used to be her little outhouse. I mean, this is where they used to sell fried bread.
What happened?
Shit, just time, people getting locked up. She didn't really have much people to help her, so this is what's left of it now. I hear the dust storm comes, it just comes right over that mountain, everything up.
How often does a dust storm come?
They can come whenever.
Is there usually like one good dust storm a year?
Yeah, it's a couple.
That's the red chili.
And pulled pork?
No, this is beef.
This is over 100 years old.
Yes.
How long do you think this took to make?
Oh, probably a long time.
Days?
Yes.
These are also over 100 years
They're
old.
old. They're old too.
There's something special about handmade.
Okay, here's your sandwiches. The Navajo taco, all the tribes make that, and it's just beans, hamburger, cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and that's a.
Really good. Thank you. This is gonna be such a gringo question, but I don't eat the husk, right?
No, you can if you want.
I didn't mean to
No,
embarrass
we don't.
myself, but
Wait, what he asked?
eat the husk.
Oh,
Really good. Thank you. This is
That
gonna
was
be
kinda
such a
obvious,
gringo
though.
question, but I don't eat the husk, right?
No, you can if you want.
I didn't mean to
No,
embarrass
we don't.
myself, but. Yeah. Good. Well, Grandma Sandra, you filled our
Okay.
bellies. We appreciate you for
Thank
that. They blocked off the playground? Why did they do that?
Because there'd be a lot of kids, motherfuckers go hang out.
in the playground?
They blocked off the playground? Why did they do that?
Because there'd be a lot
It
of
low-key looked like somebody was just sitting there, though. I don't know if it was just me.
crazy.
Are these abandos? Are people living in
Land right here, look.
Do you think anyone's living in there?
Probably.
So are there gang affiliations around here?
Yeah, it's by zones. I think this is zone 6. People around here be like, man, I couldn't find no pills, so I started smoking meth.
Bro.
Has Fetty Wap made its way over here?
Oh yeah.
We're in the circles, which is
They
all
call
the
it Fetty
projects.
Wap.
This is mostly where everybody lives, I guess. Back in the day, there was a lot of gangs out here. There's still gangs out here now. Back in the day, it was pretty crazy.
You grew up around here?
Yeah, I grew up over here. There was just a lot of shootings, a lot of people dying from shootings, you know. The airbag was out here a lot. There's still gangs out here now, but they're a lot younger, you know.
What's the relationship with police around here?
They don't really do their job around here. There's a lot of murders that haven't been solved. A lot of people out here and they never find anybody who did it.
Is this a place where people feel comfortable to call the police when something goes down?
Not so much, I guess. It's a small community, so people know people.
Well, I wonder
And
what be
they'll know
causing, like,
call police.
all the
Is there
killings,
anything
though.
you could
Like,
tell the people about
you got free healthcare. You got free money, technically. Like, what is it to honestly be killing people about? I don't know, bro.
Don't come through here at night. If you don't know nobody, it's really dark around here. Yeah, there's a police station right there. That's the only cops in the rest.
Police station.
But this
That looked like a
been
pretty
here
small
for
police
ages.
station, honestly.
This was an old boarding school. Back in the day, my mom was in a boarding school here. She was small all the way to 13 when she came out of the boarding school. She don't really talk about it. I asked her. She just gets quiet. So, man, they did a lot of, you know, the molesting and all that. Some kids died, you know, in their hands.
It's crazy how much
That's crazy.
molestation the Catholic Church has gotten away with.
Yeah.
We have got to talk about Indian boarding schools. These places were awful. In 1819, the Civilization Fund Act was passed with the intent to civilize natives and assimilate them to Anglo-Saxon culture. The stated purpose of this act was to kill the Indian and save the man. And in doing so, a few hundred schools were created and ran by the Catholics and other Christian denominations. Hundreds of thousands of kids were forcibly removed from their home, and in the loving name of Jesus, these Christian schools doled out beatings, forced labor, sexual
Wow.
abuse, and a complete crushing of native culture to these kids. With rulers, whips, and sticks as their tools of choice, nuns relentlessly played whack-a-mole on their native students. And if hell exists, These nuns are certainly there, and I hope Satan is playing whack-a-mole on them. And if this
That's
imagery
crazy.
isn't enough to infuriate you, imagine if the Taliban took over your town, took you from your parents, and beat the dog shit out of you at their schools until you converted to their version of Islam. That would be insane, and that's what this was like. And folks, I'm proud to be an American, 100%,
Wow.
but it's undeniable that
That's
we
sad,
have some
bro.
despicably ugly chapters of our past, and the best way to avoid making similar mistakes in the future is to study and learn from history.
What does religion mean to you?
Just going to church, you know, going by the Bible, doing good. My mom would bring us out here on the weekends and during the summer. So like, I went to church in Phoenix a lot. I didn't really come to church out here. Just when I got older, I came to church out here.
He seems
I
a
know
little
that you're
bit
wearing the
uneasy. I
black
don't know
on
if it's just me.
Yeah.
What do you think when a professional sports team has a Native American as their logo?
I don't really have a problem with it, but a lot of natives do.
Could you imagine if they made a football team called the Whiteskins?
Symbol in the middle. That's the man in the maze. That's the Pima's symbol.
That's a good symbol for life.
Yeah.
I think we all feel pretty lost throughout life.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel like you know what you're going, but for the most part, it's like, where the hell am I, right?
That's brick. It get like that sometimes. It definitely get like that sometimes.
So Grandma's taking us in the mountains right now. She wants to show us some things.
Stolen cars from town come out here and dump stuff over here.
What?
There's a lot of bodies found, not here, but over in another section of the res.
A lot of
This was now the
bodies.
third person that had mentioned something about people going missing and bodies being discovered at the reservation. In fact, a Google search will tell you that another body was found on the Gila River Reservation as recently as January of this year.
Sheesh.
And if you take a closer look at this trend, you'll discover that bodies have been discovered on reservations in Montana, Wisconsin, New Jersey, all in the early months of 2024. I even got a DM in January about this happening on a reservation in Winnipeg, Canada. It's worrisome how many women on reservations go missing or end up murdered. A study from 2008 showed that Native women get murdered at a rate that's 10 times higher than what's usual across the
10 times more than the national average.
country. What's more, most of these cases don't even make it to the Department of Justice's missing person list.
That's
And get
ridiculous.
this, murder is the third most common way that Native women die, even more so than strokes, liver problems, or diabetes. So it begs the question, why is this happening? And from what I can
Facts.
gather, there are two main factors. Number one, local law enforcement does not have jurisdiction to police a Native reservation. Instead, the reservation has its own police force regulated by the Bureau of Indian Affairs. For some killers, reservations are opportunistic places where they feel they have a better chance of getting away with their crimes. Combine that with the fact that natives overall tend to not want to talk or cooperate with police, and you find yourself in an environment where murders are really hard to solve.
Myself, I used to come up here, drive all the way up there. There's a road you can take, but it's been a long time. And I had a four-wheel drive truck, and I used to go up there and party up there,
Yeah?
drinking and get high and all that.
Yeah. How far is it off road?
It goes all the way to Mexico. The back road, they used to go deliver drugs.
Really?
Back in, yeah.
Grandma's starting to take us on a crazy adventure.
Nah.
Bodies, stolen cars.
She really taking them on a
trafficking
field
in
trip right
Mexico.
now.
What the f, Grandma?
I want to be out here.
How is she doing?
Oh, no,
Oh,
no.
no, Grandma.
Nah, she got stuck.
This is a bad idea. Yeah.
Oh,
So
my
fucking
God.
Jesus.
If they get stuck,
Sorry
bro.
to say I'm not as tough as you are. I got a little scared when you were hitting those trails. I thought I was gonna get stuck. So I want to hear more about the bodies because you just casually said that, and I feel like I want to touch on that a little
Well,
bit more.
a lot of people come from Phoenix, and because we're so far out here, and there's nothing over here, I mean, you know, so people come and dump bodies here.
You can tell this is a drinking town. Look at
Wow.
this. This is 30, 40 feet off the road, and still, like, it just shines. The road is shining. Yeah, this is definitely.
Imagine if ChatGPT
Bro.
had a baby. That's it.
Imagine a desert to where like it's mad far out the way
Generating
and
conversion.
like it's just like a whole bunch of just bodies just laying out,
He's a religious
hidden
leader.
in
He has
plain
a sweat lodge
sight.
set up in his own backyard, and he has stories for days. Let's knock on his door and see what he has to say.
This is Big Mike's house. We're heading towards
Big
his
Mike.
sweat lodge. He's helped me a lot. We fought against the Interstate 202 now.
And why didn't people want it here?
And we like natural. All natives like that. It's not on our land. It's on the other side. But it might as well be. It's right there. Right on the border of our tribe. They even cut the mountain. That was our sacred mountain where we go and pray and stuff.
I read that 50% of people around here have diabetes. Is that something that you're familiar with?
Yes, it's real bad here. We weren't allowed to do our traditional ways. We had to learn to be like them.
Is there still a long-standing resentment towards Europeans or white culture?
Yes, of course. The people that had to live through it, they know.
I think it's more horrible than people can imagine. I don't think people know history that well, but if people do their digging and they research how awful it was.
How America was, we weren't free to roam like we should have been. It was been taken.
Good evening.
Big Mike.
Michael. Good evening. My name is Michael Tashquint. My traditional last name is from my great-grandfather, Tashquint.
Oh, he speaks
I'm
great
here
English.
in the village of Komot. Southwest is what they call the Estrella Mountains, but to us, we call it Komot Doak. Komot Doak means thick mountain.
Hey, that's a nice little setup he got.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What made you start that journey?
93, I lost my brother up the road here. He got hit. We were going up to go get some more beer and everything like that. We're coming back, and we were just coming up the road here. Just on the other side, there were those houses on that side began. This people hit a horse. You know, the woman, you could see where she hit the windshield. Her face is all bloody. As we were going by, the door on the driver's side was open, and there was a guy laying on. So I told my cousin, pull up behind him. They pulled up behind him. My brother already jumped out. He ran over there. Just when I got out, I heard my brother go to the other side, and he was checking on the woman. And I heard my cousin yelling out, "Chris, look out, there's a car coming, there's a car coming." And then next thing I know, my brother was standing with the door here, and he was waving his hands like this. Well, they missed the car, but they hit him right there. And they just
Wow.
went over him and everything like that. I got out of the back seat of the car, and I just turned and I looked, and I seen him get hit his head, and brains, blood, and everything like that. And I was over him like this. I was laying on top of him like this, and I kept telling him, don't leave me. Don't leave me. I need you. You're the one that's holding my leash. My brother was the guy more or less controlled me. If I was going to kick somebody's ass, he would say, "Go kick their ass." And I say, "Really?" And I go over there and kick them.
Dog, that's sad, bro. He really died really trying to just help somebody else.
Don't leave me. Don't leave me. I need you. You're the one that's holding my leash. My brother was the guy more or less controlled me. If I was going to kick somebody's ass, he would say, "Go kick their ass." And I say, "Really?" And I go over there and kick their ass. I ended up getting deep into drugs. I didn't give a shit about it anymore. The final point came was that one night, I guess we were sitting there drinking and everything like that. I was sitting there rolling up joints, sprinkling with coke. Like that, rolling them up, getting ready to smoke. And after that, I got sick. I almost died. And that's what kind of snapped me out of it. Whatever happened to me. My dad, my brother came. I remember going in. You know how the lights are on top of us? And I remember looking up like that and watching like that. And I just seen him going, choo, 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 choo. And I was out. So I just woke up and I said, "What the hell?" And then the nurse came around and she goes, "Oh, you're awake. You're back." I said, "What?" And then she goes, you know, "What day is this?" I said, "Wednesday evening." And she looked at me. She goes, "No." She goes, "This is Saturday evening. You've been out for the past 3 days. Your family's about ready to bring in the priest to give you last rites. But you weren't going to make it." I said, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, we're about ready to die." I remember I started walking and I was going in something like gray. It was just all gray. And all of a sudden, out of this side, I seen this black figure come out like that, And I heard my brother start laughing. He goes, "What are you doing here? You don't belong here. It's not your time." To the other side, I seen another figure on this side. My dad, I heard his voice. "This is not your time," he said. "You need to go back. Come on, we'll take you back." And as they were coming back, they started telling me about sobering up, changing my life, doing the things I needed to do. Woke up and as they were
That's
my dad,
crazy.
"What are you doing here?" I was walking and I was going in something like gray. It was just all gray. And all of a sudden, out of this side, I seen this black figure come out like that, And I heard my brother start laughing. He goes, "What are you doing here? You don't belong here. It's not your time." To the other side, I seen another figure on this side. My dad, I heard his voice. "This is not your time," he said. "You need to go back. Come on, we'll take you back." And as they were coming back, they started telling me about.
He had an afterlife experience.
The things I needed to do. Woke up and that's when I woke up in the hospital. And so after that, that's when I decided I gotta quit. So they took me and sent me down to Kino. That's when I found out I had PTSD.
It feels like this world is losing its soul and losing its culture a little bit.
That's crazy. That was deep. I'm not gonna lie.
That, and I know what you're talking about because our young kids, they're not picking it up. They don't know too much about the history and the culture of our people, especially grandparents that went to boarding school. In the boarding schools, they were stripped of their identity. Their hair was cut. They were forbidden to speak the language. A lot of elders are embarrassed or ashamed to speak the language to their children and tell them the stories and all of that. Growing up here, my family made me understand who who I am. They made me speak English first, but I asked them, why'd you teach me English first? They said, because if you learn Pima, it would be hard for you to learn English. And from there, my grandparents and family helped, raise me and teach me my traditions. So trying to keep that up to the kids now. A lot of kids, they just don't know.
White man society. What comes to mind when you think of that phrase?
The coming of the Europeans, from the Spanish coming through the islands, Puerto Rico, Cuba, from there establishing their ports and everything like that, and then from there coming across to Mexico, South America, enslaving the indigenous people, all for gold, silver, and land, and everything else like that. Then again, too, the Europeans, the French, the English. The Dutch, they say, were the only people that kind of took care of the native peoples. But when you look into the history of the English, Spanish, and the French, they stole, they conquered. They lied. They paid for the bounties of scalps. All of them.
Man, they were scalping people,
women,
though?
Children, elders. Thing about the border, they talk about all the people that are from Mexico and all that way. Those
that is mad
people,
evil, bro.
Even the Mexicans. That's not the right word for Mexico. It's Mexica. That's the thing about the white man's society. The Europeans coming here and just trying to make us.
Anyone with $10,000 or more in
I'm
credit card
learning
debt
a
or
lot.
personal loans.
I'm really learning a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
What are some spiritual beliefs of this land?
When the son married, he brought his wife home. If the sister married, she married out of the family.
What are the biggest challenges facing this community?
We're doing good. I can't really say anything wrong or anything bad. Through the casino revenues, the tribe is taken care of. There's money through the gaming compact that goes to all 7 districts. That money.
They done talked about that casino for a minute, so clearly it do help.
Do tribal members receive from the casino?
Nothing really from the casino. The only thing you get is just the per cap that we get every month. I mean, every 4 months, every quarterly. But like I was saying,
is it the same for everybody, or does it change by age, or how do they?
No, it's the same. It's the same. It's set at one set amount, but it's different. Each quarterly is different, depending on what these casinos make. My first house, my mom and dad built themselves. Second house, the Bureau of Indian Affairs built that for me. Then this one is the tribe built that for me. And again, it's in the gaming compact that homes are supposed to be provided for all enrolled tribal members.
Final thoughts you have, or anything you would like to say to the audience out there?
I just turned 70. I go to the gym.
70?
I wanted to do with my wife.
Whoa.
Audience out there.
I just turned 70. I go to the gym all the time. I wanted to do with my wife to go in there and put it on Facebook. Here I am, my birthday, 70 years old, still working out, Come on in and come work out with me. Diabetes is a very, very high thing here on my reservation.
From what I saw with the numbers, it's over half.
Yeah. At one time, I was like close to 800 pounds. Right now, I'm probably bouncing between 320 and 290 maybe.
Oh, that's real good.
Finishing up.
Compared to what he was before?
It's called the Going Home song.
And with that, folks, thank you for joining us on this adventure.
Wow.
We'll see you next week.
That man. Wow. That man Tommy G is like the new journalist, bro. Wow. Props to you, Tommy G, for taking a trip to a reservation. I'm a white kid born and raised in Utah, and I have half brothers and half sisters that are half Navajo. I might have messed that word up, no cap. Thank you for shedding light on our natives and the struggles they go through. The last guy was very genuine. Facts. He really was. You could tell he'd been around for a minute. I was a missionary on the Tohono O'odham, raised near Tuscan. I miss them every day. Such humble and beautiful people. Bro, I ain't gonna lie. I really feel like that they got it real good over there. Besides the part of people going missing, like, that's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. We definitely learned a lot after that video, though, about the Indian reservation and, the tribes that they have over there. But either way, though, that was a very good video. I hope y'all enjoyed, no cap. And yeah.